sense, but I kind of disagree with your sense for the sake of the debate.
Oh my god, nigga. All right.
I'm saying I can disagree with you for the sake of a debate. So yeah, I guess I'll just take that as no wet.
Okay.
So why is it wet?
Hold up.
Huh? Yeah. In fact, I'll just clarify real quick. I think water makes things external to itself wet.
God,
so what do you mean? Oh my god, that's the argument I'm making. I think water makes things external to itself wet. Water. What do you call it? Is not external to itself. So water is not like wet.
My Wi-Fi tweaking. Hold up.
Nigga, you're not infinity with bad Wi-Fi, bro. Nigga, fuck. Nigga, trying to cut infinity.
Wait, nigga, what?
Use Wi-Fi, bro. Like, what are we doing here?
It's copying you in every way, bro. I swear. Infinity complains about the same shit, bro. Like, you're not infinity, bro. Fuck, go fix your Wi-Fi, bro. Who cares?
Literally.
It's asking, bro.
God.
Bro.
Like, I swear this dude Cho just like has a whole book of just like infinity tagging that person.
This guy fucking Cho has an infinity person in his room, I swear. What the hell?
Okay, I'm back. Yo, hello? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, okay, yeah. I think water makes things external to itself wet. So water is obviously not external to itself. So water doesn't make itself wet. Also, it's important. Yeah, it's important to clarify what we're referencing when we say water. Are we referring to an individual water molecule, or are we referring to a body of water, or like groups of water?
Yeah, I'm using body of water.
I don't necessarily see me having to agree to that, but like just for sake of argument, what does me agreeing to water in this context being a body of water do for you? In response to the argument that I gave, saying water makes things external to itself wet. So water makes things which are not water wet. So obviously, if water is not making itself wet, then why is it going to be wet? Go ahead.
So I believe that within the reason you gave, I think that's I don't think that's mutually exclusive. What I'm saying, because Marl argument.
I kind of hear what you're saying, guy.
Yeah, I'm saying I think the argument you gave isn't like mutually exclusive. What I'm saying at all. I don't think it really like goes against what I'm saying necessarily.
Okay, let's conclude then.
What?
Let's conclude.
I didn't get an argument yet.
I mean, you're obviously saying my argument isn't secretary.
Yeah, I was going to explain. So
okay, good.
Within water itself, even if it does give even if it does have the property of giving like making other things wet, I believe since like those things are combined together, and which makes other things wet, I think by virtue of that, I think it will have to inherently be water and have to be wet itself in order to do that in the first place. So I think that's kind of mutually inclusive. What I'm saying. So yeah.
Wait, so it's mutually inclusive because let's clarify that real quick for you.
You said mutually. Oh, repeat that.
Yeah, mutually inclusive. It's mutually inclusive with your position because of why? Like, what's the reason? Because of what?
Like you just said, my fault. You said like.
Okay, so you're saying that my argument. You're saying my argument is mutually inclusive with your position, but why?
Yeah, because you're saying that you just believe that it gives the property of like making other things wet, right? And that inherently you don't believe that this is something that's wet itself. But I'm saying, I think that, and what I'm saying, which can be like the molecules and stuff being together, which gives the property that. In order by virtue of that, I think the other.
So are you saying water makes itself wet?
What?
Are you saying water makes itself wet?
Yes.
Okay, so when you say the phrase like making other things wet, do you not think that corresponds to me saying making things external to itself wet? So if it's making things external to itself or making things which are not water wet, right? Then obviously water itself is not going to be wet because there's nothing to wet it.
Yeah, okay.
Wait, hold on, chill. If water is the thing that makes other things that are not water wet, and the only way for something to be wet is if water gives it the property of being wet. But water can only give the property of being wet to things which are not water. Then water cannot be wet. So you can this fine.
Yeah, you can go and justify that and respond. So the reason as to why I'm saying this in the first place as to why like
you said I can go ahead and justify that, then you can respond. The language. You said that.
Yeah, after I'm done. So
no, you said I can justify it, right?
Yeah. I'm saying you can justify that like after I'm done.
Yeah, okay. No, you said I can justify it then. But anyways, like just slow down when you speak. Sure, I'll let you speak, right? But just slow down when you speak so you can get your point across properly, bro. Like no one's understanding what you're saying because you're speaking too fast, bro. You're not infinity.
No,
bro.
wait, Yanni, but I'm saying
still continue, bro.
Yanni, But I'm saying I'm now giving clarification because I didn't mean that in a specific moment.
Exactly. I'm telling you, you would have to give clarification if you just like
Yeah,
weren't
I
unresponsible
did.
appealing,
Yeah,
and
I'm
like and if
doing
you
currently.
clarified points properly and
Yeah,
slow down.
yeah, I'm
But
doing
anyway,
it.
just continue.
Yeah,
It's fine.
yeah, wait, why are you talking over me? I'm doing it currently.
Okay, go ahead. It's fine. Go.
Yeah, so yeah, okay. So I was just saying, I want you to just fight after. I just want to make sure there's like no confusion to be clear, right? And I believe that with an argument you gave, I don't think that really defeats what I'm saying. Because I'm saying even if it is the case that this might have a property, right, that can give other external things like water stuff. But I'm saying even if you have this property which does that, I think if the property itself is going to be something that's going to be imbued with it or something that's like kind of like in conjunction with, I just believe by virtue of that it would have to because we already agreed upon the property giving other things wetness. And I believe if that property itself is also contingent on combined within itself, I believe by virtue of that it would have to. And you said that you believe it doesn't have to. Oh, you said you believe it can't like make itself wet or give itself on property. I think you have to prove that. So I think that's gonna be a claim.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's implied through the syntax, which, to be honest, I think we're gonna go second. Do you want to conclude?
Wait, what do you mean by the syntax exactly?
Yeah, the wording used. I think if it's making other things wet, then it's not going to be making itself wet. Otherwise, we just say it's making things wet.
Yeah, I think that's one question. We can move on or conclude if you want to.
Okay. Do you want to conclude?
Yeah. So essentially, what I was arguing, or essentially, what both of the arguments debate is going to be something involving water and wetness. He believes that water itself isn't wet, but just gives other things wetness. I believe that water itself is wet. He tried to say that he just believes the property of water just makes other external things wet, not inherently itself. I'm saying, even with that, doesn't really fit my positioning. I believe my positioning is going to be that the water itself is wet by virtue of the property. If the property gives other things wetness, and that property is something in conjunction with itself, I believe that it will have to inherently be wet by itself because it's using the property within itself to make other things externally wet. And I believe by virtue of that, it would have to be wet itself to make that work. And
yeah, so I don't think so. Is tracking my point. When I say it's making things external to itself wet, obviously it's not going to be inclusive of itself because water is not external to itself because water is water, right? So that was like the main point I'm making. So water is not external to itself. And if water only gives the property of wetness to things external to itself, and the only way to be wet is through gaining the property through water, then water cannot be wet. That was the argument that I was making, right? And then Cho like never even attacked this. He said, my point can be inclusive of that. And then he just continued to misunderstand the point I was making. And then he also tried to call into question the external point. I repeatedly said the syntax itself is what implies that it can only make things which are not itself wet. That was the point in regards to saying, like me saying, making other things wet. I don't think he attacked the external point, but like, let's just go back to the making other things wet. So I explained why the phrase other would be also like referring to things external to itself. I said if it wasn't, they just use an inclusive form. My bad. What do you call it? Like they could have just used an inclusive form and said like making things wet, which would be inclusive of water. But I think the fact that we use the phrase other, the word other, would make it exclusive to water. So we can conclude to.
I should not say that shit, but all right, let's come. Wait, is this the debate or what?
Why are you still going down your?
I low key. I don't know if you really said that in debate, but anyways,
I did. Oh God, I said all that, but